Welcome to a special podcast series, Breaking the Silence, Canada's Classrooms of Injustice, a series that delves into the stories about the federal day school system, produced by the Legacy of Hope Foundation with the generous support of the Indigenous Screen Office. Over the course of 8 episodes, we'll hear powerful stories and reflections that shed light on the often overlooked impacts of the federal day school system on Indigenous peoples, families, and communities. Join us as we listen, learn, and honor the stories that must be heard and must never be forgotten. Today, our host Gordon speaks with day school survivor Barry Sarazin. Gordon joins Barry at his home in Pikwàkanagàn First Nation. The two friends discuss Barry's life while attending the Golden Lake Day School. Barry shares how the biggest loss from his time in day school was the way it threatened his language. He speaks to the importance of students learning traditional ecological knowledge in schools so they can understand the need to respect the lands, waters, and foster sustainable practices. Please enjoy this thoughtful conversation for the Roots and Hoots podcast Day School Series project.
Hello and welcome to this podcast on the Federal Day School Podcast Project. We're in Pikwàkanagàn First Nation, Algonquin First Nation, out by Golden Lake, Ontario. And we are at the residence of Barry Sarazin. Hello Barry, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good there, Gordon.
Give me no yan.
Get
Okay, we're trying to converse in, he's speaking Algonquin, I'm speaking Cree, so we're just trying this out. We understand a little bit of each other, so.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me a bit about your community and your background, your family and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, my grandparents are from what they call Algonquin tribes. There's several of them that were along the Ottawa River, which we called Kitchissippirini people of the Ottawa River. And all the rivers that flowed into the Ottawa River, like my great-great-grandfather come from Oka area, and that's where the tribe of the Kitchissippirini lived. Mm-hmm. And of course we were nomadic people. We never had borders of Ontario or Quebec, and we just had our certain hunting areas that we would travel to, and then my grandfather on my mom's side was born up by Whitney on Commermere, which flowed from the Madawaska River. So those people were called Madawaska, Rini, and Anishinaabe. And so we came together because the government told us to go and live in Golden Lake, number 39. And that was our reserve. And some of our people went up to Maniwaki or Kitigan Zibi, they called it in the language. And but my grandfather came here, and his name was Lamab Sarazin. So it wasn't that's the French people gave us the name Sarazin because they couldn't pronounce our Anishinaabe name.
Which was what?
Our Anishinaabe family name was Mushkase.
Mushkase.
Yeah. So it became Sarazin because the French were influencing our way of life and moving us out of our territory, and they wanted us to put us on this reserve here. So that's why we were living here. You know, I grew up here with the basis of having some land 2 miles by 5 miles, so that's all we knew. We weren't allowed to go and hunt in our territory. We weren't allowed to fish off the reserve because the game wardens were saying you can't go off the reserve to do your natural hunting and fishing and trapping lifestyle. So we just, as a kid, I just grew up like that, eh? So we had very limited space to practice our culture. So that's how,
So you're Algonquin,
yeah.
the Algonquin Nation. What's the correct pronunciation of your community?
The correct pronunciation is called Pikwàkanagàn,
Pikwàkanagàn.
but they named it Pikwàkanagàn. It doesn't have the K-O-N on the end of it like Wikwemikong.
Okay, yeah.
It's supposed to have
What
Pikwàkanagàn.
does that mean?
It means about the hills that are around the lake.
Okay,
It's all hilly.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was the name of the federal day school you attended?
Golden Lake School, day school.
Was Golden Lake like a town? The lake here itself, is this part of the reserve, or it's part of the reserve, obviously, but is there a town of Golden Lake?
Yeah, there's a town in Golden Lake which they first built from, I guess, the logging industry,
Yeah.
because there used to be a mill over here and then a mill up there. So we became Golden Lake number 39.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was its name in the early 90s. They changed it from Golden Lake to Pikwàkanagàn.
Pikwàkanagàn, yeah. Did other members of your family attend the same school with you?
Yes, we had a family of 11, and then my dad had an older family of 8. And the 11 of us, we went to Golden Lake Day School.
How far was that from here? Like, did you have to walk or bus or?
Yeah, you'd have to walk at least almost half a kilometer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it's not too far then. Yeah.
yeah.
Was it on the reserve or was it in the town?
Yeah, it was on the reserve
It was on the
here,
reserve.
just up by what they now call Kokomish.
Okay. Is the building still standing?
No, they demolished that in, I would say, at least 30 years ago.
What was the day school like when you were attending? Did they provide you with any food or drinks or anything like that?
Well, we had biscuits that taste a little bit like dog biscuits.
I hear this all the time.
And we had powdered milk. which
Yes,
is-
yes, the powdered milk.
Yeah, yeah. That was our
Yeah,
most nutritious meal.
of the day. Besides rabbit and other stuff that you ate
Yeah, I
at
was
home,
so
right?
glad to get home.
Yeah, yeah. We all tasted that biscuit.
Oh my gosh.
Those hard biscuits.
Yeah, yeah.
When you went to the day school, were you allowed to speak Algonquin?
No, I don't think so. We only were taught how to speak English.
So Algonquin was discouraged. Did you get strapped if you spoke it, or any kind of punishment?
No, I don't remember that, but I remember when we were young. I think I was born in '61, so I stayed home till I was maybe 4 years old, and we always spoke the language at home. Most of my brothers and sisters understood a good portion of the language, but when we went to day school, we lost it all, and we're just mostly learning English then.
Yeah, yeah. What was the like? What was life like? Describe your life like during the time you're going to day school. What was your routine like? Like, what would you do besides, like, you go to school, and then what do you do afterwards?
Well, my father was a birch bark canoe builder, so I would stay with him, and then he one day got me a dance outfit, so I would dance when tourists would come around. And
Powwow?
yeah, it was something more of like a drum and dance show.
Okay.
So my dad saw that as as part of a marketing tool for him to do a little show while he was building his canoes and entertaining his buyers.
Yeah.
So that was my life, and then they kind of had a little system going where he would give me some money, and then I had lots of friends who wanted to become my friends, and let's go and get some pop and chips after that. So
Yeah.
it was kind of my first experience of becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So after that, we would run around in the bush and do whatever we did in the bush, and play in creeks and stuff like that. And we were never afraid of the bush. It was just like our natural back door, and our parents wouldn't worry about us, as long as we're home for supper, and then we go out and play again.
Yeah.
And come back at dark. So we went to house, and people welcomed us into their house and fed us. And at that time, it was pretty hard for food and stuff like that. So they knew that.
Mm-hmm.
The elders knew that. So wherever we went, they always gave us soup and sandwiches, and stayed there and played there. And but it's different today. People don't go out, and they don't visit each other the way they do now. They're either stuck at home watching TV or playing games, videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was totally different. Like we had to be on the land. So that was kind of like my daily routine.
Was there like, did you, on the reserve, was there like a store and nursing station, anything like that?
No, one of the chiefs had a little place where they sold like pops and chips, and but never.
No Hudson's Bay store or anything like that?
No, they had to go to either Eganville or Pembroke,
Okay.
but they had to get tickets to get off the reserve. They had an Indian agent over there at the corner,
Yeah.
so they had to get a ticket to get off the
Yeah.
reserve.
Authorization to leave the reserve?
Yeah. They had to get authorization to go and get some food. And
Wow.
yeah, we couldn't go hunt off the reserve where we get charged
Yeah.
by the game wardens, where we were hunting ducks. And my dad says, well, you can't go off the reserve and hunt.
Yeah.
So the game wardens would be waiting for us.
So you'd be hunting out here and fishing out here on this river and the lake?
Yeah, we go down, there's a dam there, and
Yeah.
there was like a cut-off area, and if you went there where the ducks were, they'd be watching you.
Really?
Yeah,
Like, so you don't shoot the ducks on that side?
yeah,
Off the reserve?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah.
You should have just chased them to this side. Okay.
And we never hunted moose because the moose were all in the Algonquin Park area or off the reserve. So
Are you allowed?
chiefs-
Are you allowed to go hunting there now?
Yeah, since the land claim in 1991.
Okay.
Before that, all the chiefs would hunt and they'd get charged and thrown in jail.
Really?
Yeah, it exercised their authority over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, Dan, and they were pushing through the land claim, so
Yeah.
they finally found out that we have rights to hunt anywhere.
Yeah.
Me, I hunt all over the territory, the Algonquin territory. I go up as far as Temiskaming, Kippawa. I go up to Kitchissakik, which is near Lac-Simon, above
Yeah.
Ottawa. I hunt there, Rapid Lake. I hunt the whole territory.
Do you ever get? Do you ever come across a conservation officer that questions you and
Oh, yeah.
asks for your status card?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
When I'm in Quebec, they asked me, "You're from Ontario?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I shot this moose, but I want you to put that moose that I'm from Ontario." I said, "I want you to register it in my system." He says, "Why?" I says, "Because when I go back to Ontario, I don't want them to say, 'Well, where'd you get that moose?'" And,
Yeah.
they realize that, yeah, we do have rights in Quebec and Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What has life been like for you after you left day school, federal day school?
Life has been, was like I thought I was just a normal person, you know.
Yeah.
In Canadian society, I spoke English and write in English, but I always knew there was something different about me. And I became more aware as when I left here in the early 80s and I went to college and, then ran into some of the boys there from the Great Lakes, and we were called the Whirlwind Singers. Paul Najuan and Gordy Simon, they're all from around the Great Lakes, and we started singing songs. And 82 we ran into the elders at the Constitution of Canada, and they wanted to know why we were in charge of the resources for hunting, fishing, and trapping. So the elders told the Prime Minister, why we are responsible
Yeah.
for that. So that began to fulfilling my questions, of the Algonquin language, and Ojibwe and Cree were all related, and I asked my mom around 86. I says, Mom, I said, I want to learn my language more. So I said, teach me how to speak my language. So that's pretty much when I started to really study the language, and I've been learning ever since. Try to say how important it is for a language, in our culture, because that's what our youth need. They need that identity. First, of who you are, where you come from, what language you are. Know the backgrounds of your whole territory and your hunting, fishing, and trapping, and exercising those rights. So after that, they hired me here to be the language teacher here at the daycare, which I stayed there for 19 years and went on to university to get my teaching certificate to teach anywhere I could.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing today. But I'm still in the process of wanting to do more language. Like I see things in the community. They say, every child matters, and I said, well, why don't you write that in Algonquin?
Yeah.
But speak it as well.
Yeah.
So that's how we're going to learn.
That's right.
So that's why I try to strategize myself, or I do little videos, like I did one on Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back.
Okay.
So I did that in the
Yeah.
language, or I do little things like Ernie and Bert fishing. If you want me to catch another fish, Ernie, okay. You do different little projects like that.
Well, kids can relate to stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of like action, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say you had a good experience, or your experience in day schools, has it been good or bad? How do you feel about that?
Well, it's pretty bad because they don't really encourage language, and you don't learn. You only learn English.
Yeah.
I had to cut with my right hand. I'm left-handed, so they made me cut with my right hand.
Really?
So I still cut with my right hand today. It was kind of like a Catholic thing, or whatever.
Yeah.
They said, you're not supposed to use anything left because it's demonic or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they made me cut with my right, and I said, no, I don't want to do that. I said, you get me left scissors, left-handed scissors. I'm lefty. So I had to fight with them. But they eventually did get me left-hand scissors.
Oh, okay. How important is it for Canadians to know about the federal day school system?
Well, it's really important because, they have to know who we are as the first people of the land. We are the ones that own the resources, and they have to negotiate with us if they want to develop anything. They just can't say, well, we're going to move you off the reserve here and get you out of the bush, and we're going to take your resources. And,
Yeah.
they can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They have laws in place. They have treaties developed in place to protect our resources.
Mm-hmm.
Like this Bill 5 that they have going on, they're always trying to develop ways to remove us.
Right.
They're trying to say that, we don't have to deal with these people, but, they're always thinking about separating us. But our people say, no, you have a relationship, a treaty relationship with us. Mm-hmm. You have to respect us as people.
I guess it's kind of like my next question, which is, what would you say about the status of Reconciliation Canada?
Well, I think it's good that some schools are starting to understand who we are. We have our own spiritual ways that come from the land. Let's say we want to connect to the land, that we always have to go to the waters. Like, I know there's a place out in the Ottawa River that they call that Eagle Rock, Mega Z, and that's where our clans are. And the elders always, people grow up and they say, well, I want to know my clan, so the elders always take you to the river, put tobacco down there, and the clans are out there. And they're going to come here and tell you what your clans are. So he put that in. I was just recently in a high school graduation in Gloucester in Ottawa there last week, and then I had a conversation with John. He's an Anishinaabe Cree principal there, and so we were having a discussion, saying that the parents were saying, you're taking my children out on the land, and you're sitting out there for 1 or 2 days, and what's that doing? So I had an agreement with John, and I says, that's what I did. I sat out in the bush, and the Creator showed me my moccasins, and he said, you forgot these, son, when I was about 16. That's where, at that age, you kind of know everything in life, eh? And you do different things, and you get into drugs and alcoholism. And so that's when I became about 20. They said, the Creator already showed you everything, so you have to go back and do all those things. I said, yeah, that's the importance of having that back in the school systems, so that they can learn how to take care of the land, how to take care of the resources, not to take too much trees, and don't pollute the water. And so it's all part of the whole economic system that, that's what our grandparents taught us, and how important, like, the languages. So they're starting to do that in the school systems now, and they're trying to open it up to the whole, everybody. So that's kind of like how I live now. Share that all with everybody.
Yeah.
Because it's important to have clean water.
Sure. Yeah.
Lots of resources, and not to take too much when you're
When you
growing
hunt.
up to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like I seen things that talk to people that, in the Northwest Territories, they have that, what they call that, oil sands. Met a lady there, and they said they were flying over for hours across their territory, and it was all tore up.
Right. In Alberta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad to see that, just because you want to become rich and you want to ruin the resources and
Ruin your land.
yeah.
The last question here is going back to day schools. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us, with our audience, about your experience at the day school? Like, did they have, like, I know some people had toilets. Some people had to go outside to go, the schools didn't have running water. And so there's this hygienic thing, right? That was an issue for many schools.
Yeah, they didn't really have waterworks there, and we had to go outside, and we were kind of used to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we didn't have plumbing and electricity and stuff like that growing up, and so that became an issue.
Went through a lot of catalogs, eh?
Yeah, a lot of catalogs, a lot of trips to the bush. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but it was quite an experience, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, growing into the biggest loss was their language.
It's coming back though, right? I mean, you guys are making efforts to get the language back. You become a teacher, your language teacher yourself, so.
Yeah, I always told them that you need at least 2 language teachers within the school, because you have to converse, eh?
Yeah.
You have to hear that. So they need more funding to get more teachers.
Yeah.
You need to ignite that within the young people, to have them to be more creative. Like now they have like multimedia, and they have things that they can do and develop with their iPhones and iPads and all kinds of stuff like that. But that's all part of it. But I think the most important thing is being able to put them on the land, having camps,
Yeah.
hunting, fishing, trapping. There's so many things you can do. Like just with a beaver, you can process their fur, but beavers have medicines, like their castors or medicines used for different healing. For your teeth, you can use that for toothaches. The beaver castors grounded up. They use it for their medicine lodge.
Yeah.
So those are all the things that the elders have and shared. Just with the resources out there, the beaver or the trees, the different types of trees like cedar and balsam, crushing them. How do they use that with the spirits? One lodge is called the Metitzin Lodge. It's a healing lodge.
Yeah.
And that's connected. It's owned by the big turtle spirit in the ocean. And they use the Thunderbird drums to have those 2 spirits come at the lodge. But the lodge is owned by the turtle spirit. So there's a healing lodge that the elders have shared with us. But it's not one. It was the prominent lodge for the Anishinaabe people, but now you have sweat lodges. And
Yeah.
it's become a prominent healing process, I guess, of understanding, of trying to get our culture back. And for me, I'm trying to learn about what the Metitzin Lodge is about, and that healing lodge, and how do you have the Thunderbird drums that I carry, and how it's related to the Healing Lodge,
Yeah.
other than doing sweats and stuff like that. The sweats aren't really a part of the Anishinaabe nations, but that comes from the Sioux people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, our original lodge is called the Metitsin Lodge.
Mm.
That's the real healing lodge
Yeah.
for our people. But I see all these sweat lodges going up, and it doesn't really belong to us. But it's something that's adopted.
Yeah.
So I think the more education they have in who we really are,
Mm-hmm.
will be revitalized. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at today.
Yeah.
I'm trying to revitalize the drumming and the dancing. It's all related to hunting, fishing, and trapping, and then the lodge relates to the medicines from the animals. Like every animal has its medicines.
Yeah.
You know, the skunk and the porcupine, and the trees, like for cholesterol. To clean your blood vessels, you have to use what they call bambagili seeds.
Yeah.
And you boil that up, and that cleanses your veins. So all those things you try to get, when you're in trouble.
Yeah. There's a few years back, I did a project for Indigenous Knowledge Studies on our reserve, and the one of the things that I learned from that project was they told me that the elders were saying that the animals like beaver, muskrat, ducks, moose, they feed the plants underwater, right?
Yeah.
And they're telling me that these animals that feed these underwater plants they're eating medicine plants to strengthen their body. And that medicine, when you like eat moose meat, it passes on to you, so it's supposed to help you become stronger and not so weak. Yeah, so that was a interesting piece of historical, traditional, something that I never knew existed, happened. So, but the more you talk to elders, Indigenous elders, the more you learn, I guess, right? So, maybe talking to you, you've made me understand a few things that I never knew. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of things, like even the trees out there are medicines, like yellow birch is good for, people who have diabetes, or you have to use different trees to mix them together.
really, wow.
You use yellow birch, black cherry, and wild plum tree for starter bases of diabetes, but there's another process which they call Kakajoi, that I learned from people up in Kitchissakik above Ottawa there. And they use the Kakajoi, it looks like a juniper shrub.
Yeah.
And you cut that up and mix that with two other medicines. One's Labrador tea, and you cut up the whole plant, the stem and all, and you mix that. And then the third process is balsam tree, the bark of a balsam tree. So those three medicines are really good for diabetes. That's what I'm noticed So you learn from elders, and they're willing to share. You just have to do the work of getting the medicine, doing the medicine, but you have to exercise, make the blood move.
You sound like an elder. I'll leave it at that. Thank you for taking the time, Barry.
Yeah.
Elder Barry.
That
sounds good. It's got a ring to it. Elder Barry.
Elderberry tea today. Yeah, it was good to always talk to you, share,
It's always good talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life is short.
It is too short.
You
Yeah.
gotta have a good time.
Right. Make the most of it, eh?
Yeah.
That way, yeah.
Yeah.
Ginaskumitin. Ginaskumitin. I thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miigwech.
Miigwech.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning into this special podcast series on the Federal Indian Day School System, produced by the Legacy of Hope Foundation and made possible by the generous support from the Indigenous Screen Office. This series deals with difficult subject matter. The Hope for Wellness helpline is available 24/7 to Indigenous peoples across Canada and can be reached at 1-855-242-3310 or available through chat at hopeforwellness.ca. Counseling is available in English, French, Cree, Ojibwe, and Inuktitut on request. For more information about the Indigenous Screen Office, visit iso-bea.ca.